Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or simply good day from whatever time zone you are attending this webinar. On behalf of the ChartWorld team, I warmly welcome to this webinar. My name is Frank Brugger, and I'm working as a navigation consultant in the ChartWorld group. Today is the first of a series of 3 webinars. Today is the first of a series of 3 webinars with the topic how ChartWorld products support the SIRE 2.0 compliances. Today's topic will be to present some unique features of our ECDIS named eGlobe G2. And in 2 weeks' time, the next webinar will then take place, which is then again on a Wednesday, and 10 hours local time means Central European Summertime. That's the 1st of June. I will explain then the features of our CO+ product family and how this product family is supporting the SIRE 2.2 compliances. And then in 4 weeks' time means on Wednesday, the 15th of June, again at 10 hours in the morning, I will present our nav cloud concept as a whole, particularly my fleet, the enhanced voyage planning tool, and the Myra, an automated voyage planning tool and a data delivery tool. My fleet is the enhanced fleet tracking tool, not only fleet tracking tool, but also it is a tool which enables you to check for the navigational compliances of your fleet against your navigational procedures. As I said, today we will present and demonstrate how the ECDIS eGlobe G2, the ChartWorld product, helps being in compliance with the SIRE 2.0. To say this already at the very beginning, the following slides are rich of text, and I'm sorry for that, but as we all know, the SIRE 2.0 question library consists of more than 1,200 pages of text. And we're talking only about the SIRE 2.0 question library, not about all the other supporting documents, which are also describing the vetting process in terms of doing a SIRE 2.0 vetting inspection. Why is the library so thick, so comprehensive? Well, there are lots of topics in there: the top-level question, the question text, the guidance section, which includes the objective, best management practice, most applicable ISM, also TMSA references, and so on and so forth. Further, in there we have suggested inspector actions, we have expected evidence, potential ground for negative observations, and so on and so forth. I try to minimize the words, the number of words per slides, using square brackets with 3 dots in between whenever possible, without changing the meaning of the sentence. In the following of the webinar, I will always show firstly the VRQ number with the question, and then followed by the ChartWorld solution in order to comply with the SIRE 2.0 requirements. After done this section, we will have a short question and answer section. The webinar content will be made available via our platforms, and as well as if there would be any questions remain unanswered, we would do the same and publish this also then together with the content of the webinar. So let us start to go firstly to the chapter 3, which is the crew management. Under 3.2, we have a crew evaluation, and the question related to 3.2.4 is, was a report available on board, which confirmed that an unannounced remote navigation assessment, which included a review of VDR and ECDIS data, had been completed. It then refers to the best management practice published by OCIMF with a publication named A Guide to Best Practices for Navigation Assessment and Audits. And under the topic 5.2, we find remote navigation assessments. And it said there, companies may consider using voyage data recorders to conduct remote assessments for navigational practices. This may be supplemented by downloading data from ECDIS and other electronic navigational aids. So that's the requirement. We come to the ChartWorld solution, and we found the eGlobe Connect with MyFleet. What is the story about? we have the eGlobe Connect, which is our connected actors. It is connected via secure gateway, which, by the way, is fully cybersecurity approved. And we have the MyFleet application. The MyFleet is the due diligence, the fleet tracking tool for the office, helping to support the office to check for navigation compliances of the fleet. In this MyFleet application, web application, we have a small icon, among others, which is named ECDIS Replay Files. Clicking on that, the ECDIS Replay Files window will open, and you will find ECDIS Replay files being available for downloading, like displayed here. That's a demo database. That's why we have only some of those green dots. If you have an ECDIS in operation, which is set on 24/7, you will find for the entire month green dots. You see here the replay files available, and you download very easily this ECDIS replay file on your computer, and you import this then into your ECDIS software, which you may have available in the office, in your emergency response team room, whatever it could be. So an unannounced, starting an unannounced remote navigation assessment is very easy with that system, and you get the files more or less in real time. Further, with this eGlobe Connect with MyFleet, in order to do the remote navigation assessment, you may check also the ECDIS check route figures, like given here. You see what was the safety contour, you see what is the status of the route, and so on and so forth. Also, the safety features as being set in monitoring mode in the ECDIS, you find directly in MyFleet, and again in real time. So you get already quite a lot of information in order to conduct your navigation assessment and to see if or not the ship's command is in compliance with your navigational procedures. That's for the eGlobe Connect. As I said, the eGlobe Connect is a connected ECDIS, which is connected via a secure gateway, fully cyber security approved. But if you don't have a connected ECDIS, then we offer for this doing a remote navigation assessment our MIRA. MIRA stands for My Route Appraisal, which is the automated voyage planning tool, but at the same time also the data delivery tool for ENCs, ADPs, AENPs, RTZ files, you name all those. Again, in conjunction with the Office application MyFleet, it's very easy to download now the PDF file for the voyage plan, like given here. That's exactly the same voyage plan, which is in use on board ship. That's easy to download, and you have it in real time without email ping pong with ship's command. You may also download the RTZ file. Again, this is the route exchange file as per S100 standard, which you may upload into your Office ECDIS, so to say. You may download TMP notices, not area warnings, and either also the environmental voyage plan as displayed here. So we're done with the remote navigational assessment, and we go further, remaining with the chapter 3, but going to the topic 3.5, crew formalization. 353 says, had the master navigational officers been familiarized with the ECDIS equipment installed on board, and were documented records of this formalization available. It refers now to the best management practice given by the OCIMF in the publication, Recommendation Use of ECDIS and Preventing Incidents. And we will find in the following of this webinar quite a lot of references exactly to this best management practice from the OCIMF. In this publication, under the topic 3.2, we find recommendations. And it is said there, among others, type-specific ECDIS training for the specific system fitted on board and developed by the respective ECDIS makers should be provided by the company to all masters and deck officers. Important to note is, and developed by the respective ECDIS makers. That's a requirement. We come to the ChartWorld solution and found the onboard formalization system. Important to say here, as I already pointed out in the requirement, we have developed, ChartWorld, developing the onboard formalization system, we as an ECDIS maker. And that's unique in the market, and we are proud of that. We're looking after the system and making sure this is being kept up to date. Why do we do that? In order to keep control about the versions being available, making sure that it's really being kept up to date. And further, the onboard formalization system offers an index as being displayed here on the left-hand side. It contains a troubleshooting section for easy troubleshooting, which can be easily done by crew. And last but not least, we're working together with our customers, and we are collecting frequently asked questions during a PSC, frequently asked questions during a vetting inspection. We're collecting those questions and create the appropriate answer and put those into a support section on audit preparation. So in order to be prepared for an inspection, it could be PSC or vetting, this support section will help much to get the crew prepared for the inspection as such. Last but not least, well, as we all know, any requirements we comply with need to have an objective evidence, and currently for formalization system, the objective evidence would be that a training certificate is being available. In our system here, we have an inbuilt assessment module, and this will create, after the formalization is being done, successfully completed, will generate this training certificates. So there is no need to send hard copies around the world, or asking for the certificate via email. It's all in there in the system, and it's easy to handle. Then we come to the next slide. Now we go to the chapter 4 of the SIRE 2.0, which is navigation and communication, and we are starting with 4.1 navigation equipment. And we will find now more than once, even more than twice, the question to the topic 4.1.1, which is named, where the master nav officer is familiar with the company procedure for the setup and operation of the actors fitted to the vessel, and where records available to demonstrate that the actors has been operated in accordance with company procedures at all stages of the voyage. The inspection guidance now says to that, where a vessel is fitted with an actors, the procedure should address, among others, contingency action in case of single or multiple actors failure. What do we do with that? The ChartWorld's solution for that requirement is the Emergency Navigation System, abbreviated ENS. What is the story about? We see here a tablet PC. On this tablet PC, we have exactly the same actor software for the eGlobe G2, which we have on board ship, on the bridge, on the official actors. The eGlobe G2 is created in a way that is the touch screen actors, which is fully certified, which is fully type approved, and is being redundant to the keyboard and to the trackball. The advantage of this system here is simple. It is that the user, the navigator, uses the ENS exactly the same way as using the actors, since both systems are capable to be used as a touch screen. And even more, since we're using the actor software on the tablet, we are able to install any ENC which is on your official actors on the bridge. We are able to install this also on the ENC. So this means the chart portfolio, the ENC chart portfolio on the actors is exactly the same as it is on the ENS. There is, you have same, with no any discrepancies. Self-explaining, this is the item number 3 here, the point number 3. It is 100% independent of the ship's power supply. Well, it's a tablet, so it has for some hours battery power. And last but not least, the use for this tablet can be, for instance, on the conning station, and you will get the GPS position and the AIS information via Wi-Fi. You may use this also in the Citadel in case you need to retract there in a piracy attack situation, or you use this also for abandoned ship. We know in the good old times in quotation for sure, when we used paper charts, the second officer scrapped some paper charts prior escaping to the lifeboat. Dismantling an actors is not possible nowadays, self-explaining, so you need to have something else which you take with you, has chart information in case you abandon ship. Right. We stay with the 4.1 navigation equipment, and we even stay with the 4.1, the same question as we had before. We even stay with the best mentioned practice in terms of the next requirement, which is related to ECDIS displays under the 413 of the publication recommendation use of ECDIS in preventing incidents. It is said there, among others, the company SMS should detail the procedure for customizing ECDIS display layers for various navigation situations, watch handover procedures, and master's standing orders. If we go further to the ChartWorld solution, we find ourselves in two screenshots of the eGlobe offering the following features. We have, number one, an inbuilt watch handover checklist. And you see this watch handover checklist. The reliever and the relieving officer, well, sitting in front of the ECDIS and checking if or not they both are happy with what is displayed there. Among others, you see the sensors, if they are on or offline. You see how the voyage was checked, and you see also the monitoring. Once they're both happy and watch handover is done, you save this report, and down here, maybe difficult to see, you have a save report button, and then this watch handover checklist is being saved in the ECDIS, can easily be reviewed at any later stage, and gives you an evidence that the watch handover was done with the settings as displayed here on this watch handover checklist. Further, as we said, and just to say this again, the recommendation saying the company SMS should detail the procedure for customizing ECDIS display layers for various navigation situations. We have in the eGlobe G2 an inbuilt user profiles. And this inbuilt user profiles, you choose for the applicable display layers as per your company requirements, and thereafter you name this profile and you save this profile. In my example here, I make it very easy for myself. I just have chosen some voyage segments, which I named at anchor, berthing, coastal, confined waters, open sea. So for those profiles, you select the desired display layers and you save thereafter all the settings as a profile. Next time you click again on coastal, you find exactly the display layers which you have saved previously. So there is no need to select manually display layers again after you changed your voyage segment. I trust while doing navigation on the bridge, while conducting a voyage, there are jobs with a higher priority than selecting display layers while changing the voyage segment. That's the easy solution for that. Right. If you go further, we still remain with the 411, asking the master officers to be familiar with the company procedures for the operation in ECDIS, and so on and so forth. We have read this already. Again, we're referring to the OCIMF best management guidance, recommendation use of ECDIS preventing incidents, and we're coming to the item of that publication 428, which is the look ahead zone. Among others, it said the look ahead zone should be reassessed in CATSOC areas that have reduced position accuracy to ensure sufficient safety margin. Well, is this something which is very practical? I do at least question that. Why do I question that? You're conducting a voyage, you're monitoring and execution of the voyage, and you have, you do navigation, you do co-rec, you look after safe navigation. And now we have an additional task for the navigator, checking if or not the present look ahead zone setting is according to the company procedures for the CATSOC area I'm presently navigating in. Well, is this something which is really practicable, which helps the navigator? Well, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. From my point of view, considering the CATSOC should be something we should do during the planning of the voyage. We should not do this while conducting the voyage. To conduct the voyage, as I said, the priority, the job priority on the bridge might be, or is very likely, different. There is a ChartWorld solution for that. As I said, we think we need to shift the consideration of CATSUB into the planning mode, not in the execution monitoring mode. And you see on the left-hand side, the other way around. The eGlobe feature here is the so-called use CATSUB function. And we see this here, use CATSUB. I made a test, a simple test, a show a case study here. You see, I made a check route for this voyage. I don't find any danger. I have a CATSUB Charlie area, which means I have a horizontal accuracy of 500 meters, right? And the system is telling me we don't have any danger here. Now it comes here, the unique function of our eGlobe G2, which does not have any ECDIS, any other ECDIS does not have that function. We tick box the use CATSUB. And now what we see is suddenly we have alarmings here. The safety check is there's something concerning. If we go to the picture, and as I said, we have a CATSUB area of 500 meters, then we see there's alarm here on the starboard side, we're going south, on the starboard side about this safety contour, and on the port side about this safety contour. Since we have a CATSUB of Charlie, this means those safety contours could be up to 500 meters more to my coastline than charted on the chart itself, right? So what does this mean? This use CATSUB means I'm now prompted to reduce my XTD corridor to a level that, considering that the safety contour displayed here and the other safety contour displayed here will not touch this, our XTD anymore, even if it would be 500 meters away. Again, just to highlight this also, in the eGlobe G2, we have a so-called in-flight route check. What does it mean? Once you're touching a waypoint, once you're touching XTD, whatever it could be, immediately the route check for this section, will be done and will show you immediately if or not you have shrunken sufficiently your XTD corridor to take into consideration that safety contour could be 500 meter off charted or not. This is also unique in the market. You don't need to formally go to check route after you have adjusted all your figures. eGlobe will immediately show you if or not the danger is still there or you eliminated that. Right. This was about the CATSUB, as I said, summarizing that. Not sure if it is a good idea to consider CATSUB in the look ahead function while conducting the voyage. Preferably, we should that do during the planning stage. We go next, we still with the 4.1 navigation equipment, but now 4.1.1 is gone. But the next question is popping up, which is 4.1.11. Asking here, were the master and officers familiar with the company procedures for preserving data from the VDR or even SVDR, and were records available to demonstrate that the test of the equipment had been completed as required? It refers now to the TMSA KPI 623, requiring that the person responsible for navigation standard ensures that NAV procedures are regularly reviewed and updated. And these examples may include ECDIS and VDR, including data recovery. We're talking now about the master and the NAV officer, right? And if you go like this, the eGlobe feature, that's the integrator showing the initial window on our ECDIS. How can data from the eGlobe being extracted? Quite easy. Number one, in Z2, you can review your files by simply clicking on the replay mode, and then you will see any ECDIS replay files in the ECDIS. Number two is you go via the file manager. The file manager enables you to do a data import and data export from the ECDIS to an USB stick. So it is not, that's very easy to be done and very easy to be demonstrated against the inspector, how you can here extract data and input data. Right. We've done with the section 4.1. We come now to the navigation procedures. And under the question 4.2.1, it says that the master NAV officers familiar with the company passage planning procedures and had all voyages been appraised, planned, executed, and monitored in accordance with company procedures, industry best practices, and both local and international rules. And it refers then, again, as we already had with other questions, to the OCIMF publication recommendation user for ECDIS and preventing incidents. And we're coming to the item 4.3 of that publication, named route validation. It says the route validation involves the following stages: manual and auto validation features. Coming back to 4.1, I just wonder a little if you go through the recommendation on uses of ECDIS and preventing incidents, then you find an additional voyage stage. These are planning, appraisal, planning, execution, monitoring are the stages as per IMO, right? And the OCIMF now is saying in this publication, recommendation of user ECDIS and preventing incidents, that there should be an additional voyage stage, which is then validation of data. And they were saying the stages should be appraisal, planning, validation, and execution and monitoring is more or less the same. That's what they're saying in the recommendation of usage of ECDIS in this publication. However, there apparently, as it looks like, step back, as it looks like, I don't know, and did not do the validation or mention the validation down here, but brought then simply a manual reference and say there must be a manual and auto validation feature. Right. If you go to the ChartWorld solution for that, then it's an easy one. The feature in the eGlobe G2 simply is that the ECDIS as such does not permit loading a route into the sailing mode. If you don't, and this is what the window is saying up here, the route activation is denied. The activation of route for monitoring is only being allowed if you do a check in the planning mode. So that's simple how we think it is, making sure that any voyage which is set into the sailing mode is checked prior. It is then used for navigation. Further, we have also a recheck, a route recheck in MIRA. How can we do that? MIRA, as I said, just to remind you, is the My Route Appraisal, stands for My Route Appraisal, which is the automated voyage planning tool. Uniquely in the market, MIRA is using ECDIS software and ENC data in order to check if or not it finds danger. And if it finds a danger, then it will be indicated in the voyage plan. As you can see here, the minimum charted depth is below of the desired safety contour. This ends up in a danger and urges the navigator to check this particular voyage flag. Any automated, just to let you know, any automated voyage planning tool is created in the way that the algorithm is looking after depth areas, not of spot soundings. In ENCs, we still have not sufficient spot soundings available in order to use the spot soundings for voyage planning, but we need to go for depth areas. This means in this example, there is a minimum charted depth of 10.1 meters, but this 10.1 meter does not mean that an area is totally covered or exclusively the depth is there 10.1 meters. It means it is from 10.1 meters up to potentially 20 meters, whatever it is, whatever it could be. This means you need to validate again the data, and you need to check manually by using your fingers, for instance, and checking for spot sounding next to the coastline to see if or not you find spot sounding sufficiently good in order to make sure that the safety contour, as desired here, 10.3 meters, is being in compliance with. Right. So this was very short and very brief. We already have 27 minutes done, something like. So let me just bring a few questions. What thankfully my colleague next to to me has collected, and I take simply 2 or 3 of those which were asked the most. And there was a number 1 question, which is named the connected ECDIS. Is the functionality to download the ECDIS replay file only available for eGlobe? Yes, actually, this is the case. We can do connected ECDIS also with non-eGlobe systems like Faruno, like Wurtzler. We can do this. We can bring a chart box or a so-named chart box in order to bring the ECDIS online. But however, we will not be able to download then the ECDIS replay files. I hope this is answering the question. Then we're going next. How often is the OFS being updated? Well, that's condition-based. Whenever we have a new version, then the new version of the eGlobe G2, then the OFS is being updated immediately. Right. Then I have one more question, which was asked frequently. Does the use of MIRA require a ChartWorld ECDIS, or is it working also with other ECDIS systems? Right. MIRA, this automatic voyage planning tool, is working actually with all, let's say, major ECDIS branches. So it's working with GRC and Faruno and with Tranders. Right. Any question which was now not answered, we will refer to that in writing. As I said, when we make the content of the webinar then available in our platforms. Just to announce that, as I already said at the very beginning, please don't miss the webinar number 2, which will be held on Wednesday, the 1st June 2022. Again, 10 Uhr Central European Summertime, named the overview of our data services SIRE Plus and how it helps to be compliant with the SIRE 2.0. Thank you much for your time here. Thank you much for your attendance. I hope you find that interesting, and stay healthy, stay safe. Bye.